This
My name is
conference will
Kiran.
now be recorded.
Okay, fine. Let us start. Guys, my name is Kiran. Let me introduce myself a bit more on the technical part. I am coming from the space of integration, mainly dealing with enterprise application integration, focusing on SAP integration suite or process integration orchestration, MuleSoft, Informatica Cloud. So be it whatever comes into the space of integration, mainly also dealing with SAP. I have been working since 2013, so I have around about 10 years of experience in this area. And yes, I also do the trainings time to time. Of course, I have a full-time job with a different company as an integration manager. But for now, okay, I'm here with Sai to train. When he requested to train a couple of people, so I'm here to do that. And I would let you also to introduce yourself and bit of your background and what is your expectations from this training. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll go first. So, Karen, nice to be here today to get this demo session from you. So my name is Suresh, and I'm into this SAP space from 2006. So it's almost around like 17, 18 years I'm here. And I started my career with ABAP, and I've recently moved into Employee Central functional aspects, right? So
Mm-hmm,
we just on day-to-day basis we deal with CPI. So
mm-hmm,
that's that we want to learn more about CPI.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Understood. So since you're already from the SAP space, then the terminology of SAP is not new for you.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So I get it. So this is very important because we can do the training based on your expectations. It's not just a random memo where I just play some topics and then you hear about some topics, but instead we could go to this training in such a way that we can touch base what is your expectation. Like for example, when you say employee central, I hope that you are definitely trying to look out for the success factors integration or something like this,
yeah,
where
yeah.
CPI plays a major role in integrating the success factors application back to HR application. So definitely we can touch base these points well, so that you could relate it to your work. Um, and yeah, thank you very much for introducing yourself, so we can go to the other person as well. Thanks, Suresh.
Thank you.
Hi Kiran, myself Chetna, and I'm in SuccessFactors last 6 years, and I work for PMGM, EC, and ECP, and I know RCM as well. Before that, I was working in SAP HR QA 5 years. So right now, me and Suresh working together for
Mm-hmm.
SuccessFactors, and so we are looking for the CPI training. Same. That integration issues we are facing and looking solution for that one. That's why we are looking for the technical
Mm-hmm.
details. Technical details.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Understood. Yeah, it's good to know about you, Chitna, that you are also coming from the space of success factors. So as both of your expectations match the same, it would be also easy for me as a trainer to discuss the things as a whole. We can actually go to discuss a little bit more on the technical, because if you people are already aware what is SAP CPI or what is SAP Integration Suite, are you guys already aware that it's a technical module? So technical module in the sense we will have a bit of programming involved, or we need to know the analytical part of it. Yeah, so that's what I mean. It's not just a plug and play module or configuration module. Yes, most of it is that, but nevertheless, we still have some programming to be done. So in the old PI world, so do you know that a tool named PI or PO in SAP?
So I've
Um,
I've worked a little bit on PIPO, but
Yeah.
basically EDI. Yeah.
Yeah, so basically it's on touching on the EDI part of PIPO. Yeah, so PIPO, the extension of PIPO is what CPI is. Okay, see PIPO we call it as an on-premise system, process integration and orchestration. So it has started back in the story of XI, so Exchange Infrastructure. It used to be called as, and then later it was PI, which is process integration, and then process orchestration. That was an on-premise module from SAP for enterprise application integration to integrate applications within your landscape and also outside of your company. Let's say, for example, if you're integrating Workday with your SAP HR, then in the past the solution is to go only via PO because we don't have any cloud solution. But later in the year 2013 or 14, we started getting the cloud version of integration, which is called right now it is cloud integration, SAP CI. So SAP keeps changing the names. So initially it was HCI, HANA Cloud Integration. Later it was Cloud Platform Integration. Now it is just SAP Cloud Integration. There is no platform in between anymore. There is no CPI. It's called as CI. This is the latest name from them. But at the end of the day, the tool is same. It is a cloud solution offered by SAP, which can be hosted on hyperscaler like AWS, Azure, or Google Cloud Platform, or Alibaba Cloud. So it cannot be installed separately in your network, but instead it is on a hyperscaler. Whereas when you talk about S4HANA system, you have editions like private cloud, public cloud, and stuff like this. But for integration, it is mainly from the hyperscaler. It is as a service. That is why we call it as integration platform as a service, also known as iPaaS. Okay, so when you talk about SAP CPI, I can now my PC is on. What I can do is I can switch back to the PC so that I could share some slides with you, mainly touching on let's say what is integration suite, what it contains, what is especially SAP CPI, what we can do in SAP CPI, and so on. And then also we can touch base on API part. Okay, so APIs and events. We don't do hands-on today. Maybe if you're interested later when we start our training sessions, we can deep dive into hands-on, how the integrations are made and so on and so forth. Okay, so let me join the meeting again. Please feel free to ask me if you have any questions at any point of time. Okay. Join the where you guys are from India. So now I heard you're from USA, but where you coming from India, if I may ask?
We are from Canada.
Oh, you're from Canada.
Yeah.
I see. Hey, I'm saying if you're Indians, where in India you come from? This conference will now be recorded.
North India.
Hey, Kiran. Kiran, you're in mute if you're talking. Sure.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yeah,
Kiran.
I can hear you.
Okay, perfect. So
Uh,
I just joined from
Kiran, I'm making you
PC.
presenter. Okay. Uh, you got a pop-up for presenter?
Sorry, I can't hear you.
No, I was asking like you got the presenter for pop-up. Sorry, pop-up for presenter. I mean,
On the pop-up for presenter.
or you
Ah,
you
yes,
will see. Yeah, you see
yes,
this.
yes.
Yeah, yeah. You can share it now.
Yeah, I will share it. Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, yeah. Just give me a minute. Okay, just hide it. No, I'm not able to because it's disabled for me.
Okay. So you have joined two times, right? Uh,
Yes, yes. Uh-huh.
okay. So should I make the one you're on mute or the one you're talking?
No, I should be leaving the one already. I think I left.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, you're only one now. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I have only one now, but I see it's disabled. Okay.
I made you presenter actually. Okay. Let me do it again.
Yeah, because when I try to share the entire screen, I don't
Uh-huh.
see the. Ah, yeah. Now I see it. Okay. Sorry.
Okay.
Okay, share my system audio. Perfect. Save it. Okay, can you see my screen then?
Yeah, yeah. Hope you hope you guys are able to see.
Yeah.
Uh,
Suresh and
I can
Chetna.
see. Yeah.
Oh, okay, thank you. So let's go. Okay, so these are the official slides. Should we proceed? You're seeing, right? Yeah. Okay. So yes, what I was talking is the integration platform as a service and what is being offered from SAP. What kind of possibilities that we have on SAP integration suite. So if let's go to the next slide. If you see, SAP wants to actually not just integrate two applications, but they wanted to create for the companies an intelligent enterprise. So they have divided the integrations into four different areas. One, they call it as an out of box integration. One is an open integration, holistic integration, and recently, because of a lot of hype on AI and ML, which is artificial intelligence and machine learning capabilities, because every company would like to use these kind of modern technologies, modern machine learning algorithms in order to shape their business. So integration suite will also help to connect to devices like IoT, Internet of Things, sensor data, real-time transfers from one system to the other system. Okay, so if you see on the left hand side, maybe I'll just try to do the laser pointer. Yeah, so if you see on the left hand side, what I'm trying to say, this intelligence suite, this integration suite will help to integrate different applications which are within different functional areas, like be it manufacturing and supply chain, where we have an integrations with manufacturing execution systems. Like for example, if there is a product which is produced in the factory, okay, and then we have certain operational applications in the factory. You will not have a web applications. Normally we'll have a machine with an operation, and on the top we might have an app which can be centrally managed. We can use this system using SAP CPI and connect it to S/4HANA or SAP system in the area of supply chain, in the area of warehouse management, and in the area of manufacturing. And whereas when you talk about customer experience, if you know the applications like Salesforce, which are SaaS solutions today, like software as a service, which is offered by the company Salesforce, mainly concentrating on customer relationship management. Okay, and just in the same way, when you talk about people engagement, digital core applications like what you're working on, success factors, mainly dealing with the employee learning module, BJX, and stuff like this. So these also can be integrated with SAP or S/4HANA systems, or even other local HR applications. Maybe if there are country-specific local HR applications, we can also integrate success factors to these applications, possibly. And in the same way, you can integrate, as I said, the artificial intelligence and machine learning systems, IoT systems, and so on. These kind of integrations happen, of course, with a technical aspect to it. What kind of technical? Maybe we can do interactive, like how do you transfer the data today from your employee central to CPI, or from maybe your applications that you know, like success factors, to CPI, or how do you receive the data? There should be some technical term, maybe a file or an XML or an API. May I know what kind of technology transfer that you use today? Maybe I'm thinking we can just keep this section interactive, so that's why I try to ask you a question, like how do you receive, like you're sending some business data via CPI, and also you're receiving some data from CPI, because CPI will be in the middle. It's a middleware system. Okay, so there should be either a source, and other side there should be a target system which exchanges the data. CPI helps in integration of these two applications using a technical possibility, like be it file, be it let's say an API, be it an OData, or even be it a database table. CPI will help you to connect two different systems with the technical stack and exchange of the data, because let's say, for example, your application can understand a file only, but whereas your sending application can understand an API, which is application programming interface, CPI will help to connect two applications using an API, transferring the data to CPI. From there, there will be a mapping which happens. Mapping means mapping the source structure to the target structure, and then finally transferring the file to the target, because on the target side, they only understand files, maybe a CSV file, or maybe an Excel file, or maybe just a notepad. But on the source side, they can use an API, they can transfer using a structure, or maybe they can bound with an WSDL, which is called Web Services Description Language. It's kind of a file with the data model and stuff. So they are way modern, but the other application is not. Then CPI comes into the picture to help the low-end application to receive the data from the high-end application. Some of the applications are built in Java programming because, of course, see, we have to build some application, let's say, on a functionality of HR, for example. We need to select what is our backend, what is our front end, what is our technology, right? So maybe we use Java to build an application. On the other side, we have purely database, which is Microsoft SQL or Oracle SQL and so on, or MongoDB or whatever the DB. They are just a databases who can understand the table data. Databases will not have, let's say, a big or a huge web application on top of them. Okay, but instead they can just understand the file which are .sql or a table data. Okay, so now integration or middleware, in our case it is SAP CPI, Cloud Platform Integration. What it does, it collects the information from the website. Let's say on the front end you have a HTTP form. Let's say, for example, you are creating a Gmail account. Okay, when you are creating a Gmail account, you submit a form. What is the form? First name, last name, email address. I mean, if you have any in the past, you can choose your own email with the name and numbers and so on combination. And Gmail will ask you your phone number for multi-factor authentication and so on and so forth. And what happens when you submit? Where there is a submit button when you submit the form. Okay, in the back end there will be an XML or a structured data for the data which you have submitted, created, and it will be transferred through a middleware like SAP CPI, Cloud Platform Integration, where Cloud Platform Integration receives this XML file from you with all the details like your first name, your last name, your email address, and so on, and it maps to the database format, which is a table data. Let's say there is for Google Gmail, there is a database table lying somewhere in their network or data center where your details has to be filled up in a row wise in the table. So CPI helps in transforming the data from the website in a form to the database to a table. So CPI helps to integrate that HTTP form into a database table. So this is just a small classic example. You can apply this everywhere, like for example, be it an Amazon ordering process, or be it a Facebook account creation, or an Instagram account creation, or an Instagram post. Everywhere you need to have a middleware system, because in an organization not every job is done by just one system. I think in your experience you already know, because there are various systems, like for HR you have one, for supply chain management you have one, for CRM we have one, for plant maintenance. For each and every functional area we have certain business functionalities covered by certain applications. In order to connect two applications, we need SAP CPI or any other integration middleware. Okay, so now let's get into what are the services in the SAP Cloud Platform. If I may have to say that CPI is part of SAP BTP. Okay, so please remember this term, SAP BTP. If you are well versed with the ABAP, Suresh, you can relate to it. In the past, you are doing ABAP programming in SAP ECC, right? But today the concept is totally different. You got RESTful ABAP programming, which is done on cloud ABAP programming, in combination with Node.js, Fiori development, UI UX, stuff like this. Mobile start. There are a lot of platforms are open today. ABAP development can be done completely on cloud, just like how CPI is on cloud. I'm not talking about just S4 HANA box. I'm talking about even the BTP, which is BAS solution, Business Application Studio. So today we have a console to do the web programming directly on cloud. So if you see, SAP evolves in such a way that they brought everything under one umbrella. It's called BTP, Business Technology Platform. The one which you are seeing here today covers just few services of BTP. So one, I would like to show cloud integration. As I said, they changed the name already. It's not cloud platform integration, it is cloud integration. And then API management is nothing but as I said, application programming interface. Today most of the technology exchange is using APIs have become the heart of the communication between applications. Okay, so if you just want to explore on APIs, for example, let's take a very famous website, Amazon. Just go into Amazon, go to Google and say the list of APIs from Amazon. Okay, and you could read Amazon has APIs published into their API portal. Like for example, if you want to get an order status of yourself, of your order, if you want to get your list of orders, if you'd like to create an account, if you'd like to change your address, if you'd like to change your phone number, these are all certain business functionalities, right? In the same way, let's say in your example of success factors, you will also have the list of APIs available, readily available in your API catalog. For anyone, they can get into this catalog and then see the functionality of the API, and and we could directly see how many fields present in that particular business functionality. And if we could use this API in order to achieve our business requirement, then that's all we need. We just need that API and the key, and then we can use the structure and we can make a direct integration with them. In the past, that was not the case. 5-10 years ago, how integration requirements are being gathered, how functional requirements are being gathered. Just just think, there will be 2 to 3 teams sitting together in a teams meeting talking about the functional requirement. One source team who want to send the data to the target team used to give a structure, or give their XSD, which is the format, or WSDL, a file saying that, hey guys, this is what we wanted to exchange to our target system. And there is a middleware person who is understanding this source systems technical stack, source systems technical way of exchange, and trying to build an artifact inside middleware, and then also talking in parallel with the target system, collecting the details like what kind of format they want, what is their data structure, and then mapping both data structures in the middleware, and then finally sending the information to the target. That is what used to happen in the past. It used to take a lot of time in establishing one integration between two different applications. But whereas today, because of more digitalization, because of more application centric, because of more globalized way of looking at applications, like because of cloud systems like AWS, Azure hosting number of applications, today it is a piece of cake to achieve an integration using this API technology, because API is so standardized that every company can publish their APIs directly publicly, and ask their consumers, publisher, like when you publish something, like when you are the one who is the source of data, then you become the publisher, and whoever wants your data, they are called as consumers. Okay, today we call the term publish and consume, pub sub, that's what it's called as. So someone who is subscribing to your API or to your data is a subscriber. He can subscribe. If he is not able to subscribe, then middleware CPI becomes the subscriber to your system, sending the data to other systems. Okay, so this happens, like as I said in my previous slide, I told about this point, which is IoT and device integration.
you can directly integrate devices. Like for example, you know how the weather is being calculated. If you see, there are some sensors somewhere, which collects this kind of information, the weather information, and broadcast this to the weather center. And from there, we can collect this data from these systems which are acting on top of these devices. Through CPI, we can post back that information to S4 or SAP or even any other systems, not just SAP. Okay, so that's on the device integration. What is A2A and B2B integration? The integration which happens, let's say, within the organization, within your company applications, then it is called as an application to application integration. When we talk about business to business, as you mentioned, Suresh, in beginning of your introduction, you said that you worked on PI for the EDI topics, mainly the electronic data interchange. When do we use it? We use it, every company needs an EDI. Why? Let's say you are working for um, let's say you're manufacturing something. Let's say you're manufacturing a chair or a table. Your customer is the furniture store guys, right? The guys who want to buy the furnitures. Your customers can be directly end users like me, or someone. And then your suppliers will be the, if you are making your chair with the wood, steel, if you need some chemical to it, if you need some cosmetic to it, and so on, these are your suppliers. Today the business is not happening by just calling over the phone, right? It happens completely online. Neither business is happening today just with the paper. It's not happening that way. Today business is happening digitally. If you want to buy some product, you are buying on Amazon, that's fine. But how Amazon, let's say, this is a bad example of Amazon. Let's say, for example, if you want to buy something, you are just going to the retail store, or maybe you are opening the website or the web shop of that particular company and buying the product. In my case, let's say you are buying the furniture from me, who is a direct manufacturer, using my website. But me, I just don't have direct consumers. I also have business customers like the furniture stores and so on. With the business customers, how the order happens is through EDI, electronic data interchange. And it doesn't happen by paper. It happens purely via electronically. And in this world, we have various formats for EDI like EDIFACT, mainly used in Europe, ANSI, X12, X14, it's mainly used on the American standards of exchange for the information. Okay, so the business information. So here we exchange quotations, orders, invoices, delivery notifications, anything which comes as a business between ordering until delivery and invoice process with your customer and also with your supplier. That is called as B2B integration, because you are not integrating within your organization, but you are integrating outside of the organization. Okay, digital process and apps includes, let's say, for Ariba, Salesforce, success factors, and so on. Real time. What is real time? What is the opposite of real time? Real time is like something happened in your system. Right now, a business event happened in your system. There is a change to the employee ID. Let's say there is a change of address, there is a change of details to the employee information. But in the past, this is not getting updated in real time. There is a file which is being picked up, and in the middleware something happens, and then finally send it to the target. It may take 2 hours, it may take 2 days, it may take 1 day. There is no real time of exchange of information. And from the business side, they wanted to see it in real time. Whenever there is an event or something happens on the success factors, or something happens on Ariba, something happens to your vendor, something happens to your employee, That information has to travel in real time to the applications who are consuming this information. Okay, so that is called real time. So whenever something happens in your system, it automatically broadcasts the change to your target systems who wanted to see this change. Okay, microservices is a new term. I would say, like, it is mainly depending on an application and the services. In the past, if you want to build an application, you are just building an application just using one programming language. But today, the applications are built in multiple programming language, which means program independent, platform independent, functionality independent. Okay, we are just breaking down the functionalities in an application. Let's say if you see Amazon, there is a functionality for ordering a product. There is a functionality in Amazon for choosing a product. There is a functionality in Amazon for payments and cart, adding address, and so on. These three functionalities are divided into three different modules. There will be three different teams coding and programming on that. Okay, let's say for example, today I have a release for the module which is payments. Only that particular section of Amazon page will not work, but normally the ordering process, the cart, and even the display of the items, all the other three modules will work. In the past, if something goes wrong with the payment module, everything on the website used to stop. But today, have you ever seen, encountered any website is down? Today, when you are Googling something, you wouldn't have seen, because the maintenance windows are very less, and because of cloud and microservices, if there is, as I said, if there is a deployment on just one module, only that particular page will be affected, but not all the modules in that particular website. So that's why you don't see websites going down these days, in modern days. In the past, it's not like that. When you open the website, it says, sorry, I am under upgrade, will be back soon, and so on. But now that's not the case because of microservices. Let me show you. So as I said, cloud platform can do all these things. Like, you can also have a business rules. Let's say you have two different systems, and the ID or the number on your target application is not the same on the source application. We can actually maintain a business rule in the middleware in order to map these two IDs. You can say 1110 is equal to here it is 21K43 something. You can map your local employee ID with your global employee ID, for example. Okay, you can have workflows are the ones, when I talk about using the capabilities of robots. It's called robotic process automation. Let's say when I say workflow, I will say an example. If we want a leave or a vacation, we try to apply this in our portal. It will go to our immediate manager for the approval, right? Let's say, for example, this is called as a workflow. This can be configured in SAP BTP, which is called Build Process Automation, BPA. We can set up this workflow, the whole process, when manager approves what should happen, when manager rejects what should happen, and so on. Because there is a human-centric action involved, this can be done as a human-centric, but in the modern world, as I said, process automation involves robotic process automation, RPA functionalities, in such that your manager need not approve your vacation. We can set up a rule for your manager saying that if your vacation days are below 3 days or 4 days, let's say for example, business case, it is auto approved. It is approved by robot. You straight away get your notification auto generated email saying that your vacation is approved. Let's say you have set up your vacation for plus 25 days or 30 days. Then it goes into the bucket of manager, and then manager reviews it personally, and then based on the discussion with you, he might approve or reject it. So this can be configured as a part of workflow. Okay, so these are the capabilities which is offered by the integration. And then who can work on integration and what types of integration? So as we discussed before, API Business Hub, CPI is not just CPI is part of integration suite, and this integration suite is not just CPI, it is also having other capabilities, as I said. One is API management, okay, and one is open connectors. Open connectors are the ones like, let's say, our Android applications. Today SAP made available some of the applications readily deployed, like Salesforce. We have as an open connector, we can just plug and play and use the complete functionality and integration between Salesforce and SAP systems. Just like that, we have for ServiceNow, SharePoint, Facebook, Twitter, every digital solutions in the world which are very modern. Okay, these solutions are already deployed by SAP in open connectors, and they are keep on deploying time to time with the other companies as well. Like let's say SharePoint, I'm talking about ServiceNow, Jira, and so on and so forth. So API management, we have event driven. So if you see event driven, this is a big topic by itself. Maybe we can cover this topic when we get into the CPI pure training. Event driven is nothing but when there is an event happening in a system, let's say an object is created or changed, the system send a real-time event notification to a middleware with a small information saying that, hey, something is changed, and it is completely the responsibility of the middleware to pick an API particular to that object and completely take the data from the system what has been changed and broadcast that information to multiple target applications which are consuming the data. Okay, so what type of let's say who can work on this and work on this integration suite? Developers or experts who is really sitting there and building the integration flows, they can work on this CPI. Business users who is working with task digital processes and applications, even they can be given access. For a classic example I explained before as business rules, right? The business guys can create the rules, they don't need to know the technology, they can leverage the integration platform to create the rules. Citizen integration developers are the ones. Now I consider you people, Chetna or Suresh, as a citizen developers, because you won't clearly go inside CPI and develop, do programming and stuff, but instead, if there is a configuration needed, or if you wanted to see where is your message, like if you want to monitor your message, if you want to do an error monitoring, citizen integration developers can do it. And also they can use our low code no code functionality in order to create applications on SAP build which doesn't need any programming. It is all plug and play and it is easily understandable. So today, three different personas can use the integration suite or SAP BTP platform. Okay, as I covered before, A2A integration, B2B. What is B2G? Government. Okay, some of the countries need the invoices has to be sent it to their government agencies first. Okay, SAP has done these integrations pre-built. That means we can just copy that integration flow and then configure our technical details and straight away use it. To names of few, like for example, if you take Brazil as a country, every business transaction of Brazil of the country Brazil has to pass through Nota Physical. It is their invoice system management. It will pass through this system only. Every supplier invoice or customer invoice, any business invoice. So it is a need if we are doing business with Brazil country, like if we are selling a product or buying a product within Brazil country, if our company is in Brazil, then this integration is really mandatory. So this is covered under B2G and we already have pre-built. In the same way, even for India taxation, it is we are having scenarios pre-built. Even for Hungarian invoice, we have pre-built. Even for American, some of the government organizations, we have pre-built integration. So that's called B2G, business to governance. That's what we call. APIs, we discussed omni-channel, it's just single channel APIs. Microservices, we have discussed. Okay. So below, if you see here, These are all the capabilities or the services offered within integration suite. One is cloud integration, integration content advisory, smart data integration. Smart data integration mainly deals with data integration. What we are talking about CPI is application integration. Okay. Data integration is what? If you are integrating huge chunks of data, like terabytes of data, like the whole success factors related information has to go. Today we are using data lake to drop our complete data. Smart data integration is used in order to do an extract transformation loading and also build APIs on top of it in order for the applications to consume it. Okay. And same API management to manage the APIs centrally. So I would like to tell you that CPI is not just used as it's not just one tool which is used. Mostly, it will be the combination of API management plus CPI, or event mesh, which is event driven plus CPI, or just CPI. Okay. Sometimes we'll use the combination to manage our APIs with policies and so on. Okay. So do you have any questions, like if you like whatever the questions you will, what you would like to know, you we can use this next 10 minutes in order to discuss about these questions. Any easy question, whatever the dumb question it is, you can try to post it, we can talk about it. Yeah, because it is good, like if you have any interaction, that's what I mean. Is it fine with you, Suresh, Chetna?
Yeah, this is fine. So, Kiran, so the current cloud integration tenant which we have in our system,
Yeah.
we can go and see in what do you call it? Like there's a place where we can go and see all the APIs,
Yes.
right? So,
Yes.
how is that area different from the API management which you are showing here in the API Business Hub?
Okay. Okay. So current your cloud integration CPI tenant, you can see what are the integrations built, what is the prepackaged content, that means what are pre-built integrations available from SAP. And you can also, there are different tabs like discover tab, there is a monitoring tab where you have monitoring capabilities of your particular integration artifacts, right? API Business Hub today, it is changed to what is it, Business Accelerator Hub. It is a place where you could see centrally all the APIs. So let me just go to this hub and show you. We can actually explore, and now they have done it really well. That's why I want Business Accelerator Hub. The API Business Hub is called as Business Accelerator Hub now. Okay. So let me see. So it's not just APIs, they have added events, discover integrations, and so on. If you see, accept all, we have like around about 1400 APIs available. So you can discover products, processes, and partners. You can also discover integrations, prepackaged integrations, APIs, and accelerators. You can actually consume these integrations and workflow. Like you can test it out. You can try out. It's like a scratch pad. Let's take, if you see success factors, you can centrally access or try the APIs just from here. You see, what are all the APIs available? Connect to SAP SuccessFactors, SAP SuccessFactors Calibration, SuccessFactors Foundation Platform. These are all the APIs available from SuccessFactors. But if you want to discover the integration with them, we can just go here and then put. Okay, yeah, here we have SuccessFactors, right? SuccessFactors with, let's say, S4HANA. You see the APIs available. SAP SuccessFactors Learning and SAP ERP Financials integration. This integration package is deprecated actually, so maybe we can go back. Yeah, so if you see here, SAP ERP or S4HANA integration with SAP SuccessFactors Employee Central Cost Center. Replicate cost centers from SAP ERP or S4HANA to SuccessFactors Employee Central. So if you see, you have value mappings. Maybe you could relate to this with your business data. Map the language keys for cost centers you use in SAP ERP or S/4HANA to language keys from SuccessFactors, Employee Central. So the translation descriptions and the name of the cost centers are matched. You can maintain this centrally. The citizen developers, the so-called business consultants, can do this maintenance easily rather than the technical guys. We have the guide, complete guide on how to set it up. If you read this through, like you don't need anything, it's just you don't even need a technical knowledge. It will show you clearly how to implement this scenario both in success factors, employee central, and also on the ERP, what changes needs to be done if there is any CPI in between, or if CPI itself is not required, you know. So that is the difference. Whereas the CPI portal, what you're saying, the tenant, okay, when you open the CPI tenant, you don't see it like this. Business Accelerator Hub, it's a central location where you could see all the API information, all the event information, partners information. Even you can do, you can try the APIs. These are all the standard APIs. From the CPI, what you see is the standard integration packages, the whole integration package is given by SAP as a pre-built integration content. The other one is you can see what are the custom CPI developments done between two applications. You can see the monitoring capabilities of CPI for these particular integrations. You can also do the live monitoring and security material, logs like storing certificates, API keys, and so on. Whereas API management is little different. There we configure policies, we limit the connections between SAP and API management, like the system load. Like you cannot keep on hitting the system thousands and millions of times in 1 hour or 2 hours. API management will help to limit the number of calls done to the backend system. And also API management will allow to monetize that API. Okay, let's say for example I have published an API from Employee Central. I can ask my local application to consume this API, but only 1,000 times per day. If it is more than 1,000 times, then they have to pay like $2 per call. We can centrally monetize this API in API management, and we can derive the analytics of that API, and by end of the month we can bill that particular application who is consuming our API more than 1,000 times. This will help the enterprises or the businesses to monetize their APIs from their applications, so that they could get paid as well for that at the end. So that is API management. So you manage that API. This is API Explorer, where you explore an API, the available API from each SAP systems and also non-SAP systems. Like if you see, here we have, you see, Salesforce. Salesforce is not an SAP system. We can try to have an integration with Salesforce. You see, S4HANA integration with Salesforce. Like we can see all the integration flows available for the Salesforce. So just not SAP, also non-SAP systems. Okay. So I hope it answers your question,
Yeah,
Suresh.
yeah.
Yes. You can. Yeah, maybe we can have extended discussion. No problem. If you have any other questions, or if you have an extended question to this what I explained, we can cover that. And I just wanted to ask, like, what is exactly you expect as a first step? Like, you wanted to see how the flow is developed in CPI. Is that what you are interested? Or do you want to know the architectural capabilities, like on the top, like CPI as viewed as on the top? What are the elements in terms of architecture? How
Yeah.
do you want to go with it?
We basically want to understand each and every uh, part which can be used for
Yes. Mhm.
for day-to-day activities. Like we know how to monitor. We know what I flows are, what payloads are. We can see the payloads, but we do not
Mhm.
know the technical part. Like you said that how the data is getting uh,
Yes.
transmit it from one place to other. So it could be
Absolutely.
XML, could be
Yeah.
WSDL or something. We don't know about endpoints. We don't know
Mm-hmm.
about much about Groovy script, when to use
Mm-hmm.
it, if we
Mm-hmm.
can avoid it, if there are ways that we do not have to get in and code anything, and if we can
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
bypass those things, then we can do some stuff by ourselves, right? So we want to
Mm-hmm.
know what is the basic capability of the whole system,
Mm-hmm.
what can be done, and
Mm-hmm.
being functional, it's like how much we can use, how much we can leverage.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely. I totally agree. So now I understand you basically know the terminology or the terms or the usage of CPI. That's
Yeah,
nothing new for you. You need to know when to use and when not to use. Definitely, what we can do is we can stop here for now. But I'm just giving you an overview how we would do it. So we can do first I'll explain you how we create an integration flow, integration package. If it is a standard, how to consume it. If it is not standard, if it is customized one, how to build it. And while building it, you have a lot of pellet functions in CPI. So what we do in between integration, like when you talk about Groovy script, content modifier, request reply, exponential subprocess, local subprocess, how do we build that integration flow? And as you said, touching the points like when can we avoid Groovy script, when we cannot. Like in CPI, to log the payloads before and after, we definitely need the Groovy scripts as of now. These are log scripts which can be reused across various integration packages. But whereas in some places we can actually avoid Groovy scripts, we need not always build something in the Groovy script. We could avoid and use the standardization like content modifiers or even mappings or even XSLT, which is even easier or better maintenance than Groovy script. We could use that. We will see that, and then later once we deep dive into each function, once we deep dive into how to do an artifact development, taking one business example. Later, we can cover the architectural aspects of it, where we sit on the top and talk not just about CPI, but also about API management, also about event mesh a bit. And then we could finally conclude the whole integration suite, like what it contains, what are the possibilities, and also you have the information on how to develop, when to develop, what are do's and what are don'ts, and so on. Okay, so we could take this course in this direction, I would say, if that's okay with you, Suresh.
yeah, that's fine.
Okay,
So
perfect.
you,
Yeah, you said something, I couldn't hear you.
I'm asking Chetna if you have any comments.
Oh, sorry, your
Suresh, what are you saying? I am not getting.
yeah,
No, I'm
yeah, your
just
voice.
asking if you have any questions. You can.
No, Suresh, you asked all the questions, so
Yeah.
Okay,
So I think for now we are good, Kiran and Sai.
yeah.
Maybe I'll get in touch with you tomorrow.
Mhm.
Uh, and can you give us something in like maybe what would be the content of the full course
Yes,
and
absolutely. Yeah,
what
post
would be
this.
the timing? Yeah,
Yes, absolutely. I will post the content of the course. I will send it out to Sai, and he will share the content of the course with you people, maybe by end of today. Okay.
yeah, sure, that works. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks.
Thank you,
Okay,
guys.
Sai. We can conclude it.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay.
Thank you.
thank
Good
you.
night.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kiran. Thank you.
Thank you all. Bye bye.